It was supposed to be just another patrol in the quiet forest. But when Rex, the German shepherd, began barking furiously at a strange lump on an old tree, his handler froze. What they uncovered when the officer cut it open would leave everyone breathless, something no one ever imagined hiding inside. Officer Ryan walked slowly along the trail, his loyal German shepherd, Max, trotting at his side. For years, this stretch of woodland had been part of their patrol, familiar and uneventful. But today, something felt different. Max's ears twitched, nose lifted high, and his body stiffened. He darted ahead, growling low in his throat. Ryan frowned, following quickly until he saw what had captured the dog's attention. There, towering among the trees, stood an ancient oak. Its bark was rough and scarred by time, but what made Ryan's breath catch was the massive lump bulging from its trunk. It was grotesque, swollen, like the tree itself was hiding something within. Max barked furiously, circling the lump, claws digging into the soil. Ryan's unease deepened. This was no ordinary tree. Max's barking shattered the forest silence, echoing through the trees with a force that made Ryan's pulse quicken. The shepherd lunged at the trunk, teeth bared, paws clawing furiously at the earth beneath the massive lump. His entire body shook with urgency, his eyes locked on the swollen growth as though it concealed something alive. "Easy, boy. Calm down," Ryan muttered, tugging gently at the leash. But Max refused. He pulled harder, his barks turning into sharp, frantic yelps, saliva spraying as his jaws snapped toward the wood. Ryan had seen Max chase down armed suspects and sniff out explosives without hesitation, but never like this. This was different. This was desperation. Leaves rustled overhead as a breeze whispered through the forest, but Ryan barely noticed. His focus stayed on the lump and Max's unshakable obsession with it. The dog circled again, pawing, whining, his claws scraping against the wood as if trying to rip it open himself. Ryan's chest tightened. Max wasn't just being stubborn. He trusted his partner's instincts more than his own eyes, and right now those instincts screamed danger or discovery. Something was inside that tree, and Max wasn't going to stop until Ryan found out what. Ryan tightened his grip on the leash, pulling Max back just enough to step closer to the tree. The lump loomed before him, grotesque and unnatural, bulging from the trunk like a wound that refused to heal. He ran his hand lightly over the surface. The bark was rough, but beneath it, he felt a strange vibration, as if the tree itself was alive with a hidden pulse. A faint, sticky substance oozed from a thin crack in the lump, glistening dark in the sunlight. Ryan rubbed it between his fingers and grimaced. It wasn't like sap he had seen before. Its smell was sharp, metallic, almost bitter. Max growled again, his hackles raised, teeth flashing in the light. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Birds had gone silent, and the usual hum of insects faded. Ryan's instincts prickled. Something about this lump didn't belong here. Not in this forest, not on this tree. He crouched lower, pressing his ear against the trunk. For a long moment, there was nothing but the pounding of his own heart. Then, faint and muffled, came a sound, like movement. Ryan's eyes widened. Whatever was inside, it wasn't just wood. Ryan's hand trembled as he pulled the hunting knife from his belt. Max barked wildly, leaping against the trunk as though urging him on. The lump seemed to swell larger under the weight of their fear, its dark sap dripping slowly down the bark like tears. "All right, boy. Let's see what's hiding in here," Ryan muttered, his voice low but edged with unease. He pressed the blade against the swollen wood. The bark resisted at first, hard and stubborn, but with a firm push, the knife sank in. A sharp crack split the silence. Thick, dark fluid oozed out, coating the blade and dripping to the forest floor. Ryan's stomach clenched at the smell. It was foul, metallic, almost rotten. Max howled louder, his body trembling, his claws tearing at the soil in frantic support. Ryan pushed deeper, slicing a long line across the lump. Suddenly, the wood gave way with a sickening snap. The hollow burst open, spilling debris and something else entirely onto the ground. Ryan staggered back, eyes wide, his heart hammering in disbelief. He froze. What lay inside wasn't just strange. It was something that made his blood run cold. As the splintered bark fell away, Ryan's flashlight beam caught the contents of the hollow. His breath hitched. Inside the cavity was not empty space, but a wooden prison hiding something no one expected. A battered crate had been wedged into the tree, sealed in so tightly it looked like the trunk had grown around it. With trembling hands, Ryan reached in and dragged it out. The wood creaked, damp and swollen from years of concealment. The lid was half-rotten, but it held long enough for him to pry it open. Max whined sharply, pacing circles, his body tense with anticipation. Inside the crate lay a bundle of rags, dirty, torn, but unmistakable. Beneath them, Ryan found bones, small and fragile, their shape instantly recognizable. His heart sank. These weren't animal remains. These were human. Ryan staggered back, the air rushing from his lungs. The forest seemed to darken, the silence pressing heavier than before. Max growled low, his eyes locked on the crate as if warning Ryan not to look away. This was no accident, no natural oddity. Someone had hidden a terrible secret inside this tree, and the German Shepherd had just uncovered it. Ryan's hands shook as he fumbled for his radio. "Dispatch, this is Officer Ryan. I need backup, immediate. Possible human remains found in Hollow Creek Woods. Repeat. Immediate response required." His voice cracked, the weight of the discovery pressing on every word. Within minutes, the distant wail of sirens cut through the silence. Max remained close, his body tense, eyes fixed on the broken crate as though guarding it from unseen danger. He paced back and forth, barking each time Ryan's attention drifted, reminding him of the gravity of what lay before them. Patrol cars arrived first, their lights flashing red and blue against the tree trunks. Officers approached cautiously, expressions tightening as Ryan showed them the grisly find. Soon after, crime scene investigators and paramedics swarmed the area, carefully cordoning it off. Cameras flashed, evidence markers dotted the ground, and every movement was hushed, almost reverent. Neighbors and hikers, drawn by the commotion, gathered at a distance, whispering nervously. The story of a dog uncovering a dark secret spread quickly through the crowd. As the crate was lifted for examination, one thing became clear. This tree had held more than age and bark. It had hidden a crime that someone had desperately tried to erase. The days that followed were heavy with headlines. Dog uncovers human remains in Hollow Creek Woods. The story spread quickly, turning Max and Officer Ryan into reluctant heroes. Though the discovery was grim, it brought closure to a case long forgotten. For a family that had waited years without answers, the truth had finally surfaced. The precinct. Ryan often looked at Max with renewed awe. This wasn't the first time his partner's instincts had proven sharper than human eyes, but this time, it had changed lives. Max had barked until the past was forced into the light. Community members came forward with flowers and letters of gratitude. Children painted pictures of Max, calling him the brave dog. Amid the sorrow of what had been uncovered, there was also healing, a reminder that even the darkest secrets cannot stay buried forever. Weeks later, the forest stood quiet again, but its silence carried a different weight. The old oak remained, scarred and hollow, a reminder of the day truth clawed its way out of the past. Ryan often returned with Max, not to investigate, but to walk in gratitude beside the partner who had seen what no one else could. The case brought justice, but it also left behind a powerful lesson. Sometimes it takes the instincts of a loyal dog to reveal what the world tries to hide. Max's relentless barking had not only uncovered a crime, but also restored dignity to the forgotten. Standing at the tree one final time, Ryan rested a hand on Max's head. "You did more than your duty," he whispered. "You gave a voice to the voiceless." And to you watching, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stories like this prove true heroes have four legs.